Hello, I'm Cody Goggin, and welcome to another season of the Saturday Show where we talk about some of my favorite movies, music, games, and more. Today we're getting things started with a classic action film called Total Recall. Total Recall was at least partially based on a story by famed science fiction author Philip K. Dick. The original story rights had been sold to Hollywood in 1974, but it was not brought to the screen until 1990, and it would star Arnold Schwarzenegger. At the time of its production, it was one of the most expensive films of all time. Christopher Reeve and Jeff Bridges were both once considered for the main character role before Arnold took the spot. Another of Philip K. Dick's stories had been adapted to screen in 1982 as Blade Runner, and the production of Total Recall took efforts to make sure that their film did not resemble Blade Runner. It was described as Indiana Jones Goes to the Moon by some people. Director Paul Verhoeven had impressed Arnold Schwarzenegger with his film RoboCop, and Arnold pushed to have him on as part of Total Recall. Verhoeven would oversee several rewrites of the script. Filming finally took place over 20 weeks and cost somewhere between $50 to $80 million. The production was stricken with many illnesses and injuries. Broken fingers, food poisoning, sliced wrists, and much more took place during the filming of the film's many action scenes. The music for Total Recall would be handled by Jerry Goldsmith, known for his work on Star Trek and the Rambo franchise. He himself considered the score for Total Recall to be among his finest works. At the time, the movie was compared negatively to Blade Runner, Cobra, RoboCop, and other action films of the period. But today we look at Total Recall and find its themes and commentary on things such as identity, reality, and government as somewhat groundbreaking. The film even inspired a remake in 2012. Total Recall can be seen as a fun popcorn action flick or as a great piece of cultural science fiction. Give it a watch if you've never seen it, and let us know what you think in the comments below. This episode, our album of the week is Meet the Beatles from 1964. This is the second Beatles album to be released in the United States. Let's take a look at it. Meet the Beatles would feature the artwork from the original UK album With the Beatles. And as with the other United States releases of their work, it features an altered track listing from its UK counterpart. In the United States, albums were often released with a hard limit of featuring just 12 songs, instead of 14. So this American record features songs such as I Saw Her Standing There, I Want to Hold Your Hand, It Won't Be Long, and All My Loving. Upon release, it topped the charts and stayed there at number 1 for 11 weeks, before being topped by the Beatles' own second album. In 2003, the album was named number 59 on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time, and it finds the Beatles rocking and rolling with some of their finest hits. Give it a spin. Next up, we have something new for Season 2 of the Saturday Show. We have our special feature, which is a video game from the 1990s, SPYRO the Dragon. SPYRO the Dragon was released in 1998, and it was only the second game released by Insomniac Games. Their previous outing had been a game called Disruptor. For SPYRO, they originally set out to make a dark and gritty dragon game, with the main dragon being named Pete. But after legal issues arose due to the Disney film Pete's Dragon, the name Pete was dropped from the game. It was also suggested by a team member that they take a less gritty tone for SPYRO, and ultimately shifted it toward a more mainstream direction. The character model of SPYRO would be designed by Charles Zimbillas, who had previously done design work on Crash Bandicoot. The studio behind Crash Bandicoot, Naughty Dog, was conveniently located just across the hall from the developers of SPYRO, and the two development teams would often share early versions of their games with each other. Spyro is set apart from other similar games of the period by his ability to glide and traverse large distances. Using what was at the time advanced technology for 3D graphics, the world of Spyro the Dragon would feature large open environments to explore and many things to collect. Stuart Copeland, who had played with rock band The Police, would compose Spyro's famous soundtrack. The gentle and diverse arrangements were designed carefully to match the theme and feel of each of the game's individual levels and worlds. Sales upon release initially lagged behind games such as Tomb Raider, but after the holiday season, Spyro became a smash hit. Popular amongst children and adults, Spyro spawned a series of sequels and a recent remake. The character has featured in marketing and media for over 20 years, and continues to gain new fans across the world. Up next is a live performance of an original song, and I thank you for watching the Saturday Show.
Used to stand in the rain sometimes, used to kiss in the snow, used to walk in the moonlight and glow, used to dance to the jukebox, holding you close, used to listen to the music and just know everything was perfect, like a movie. I was standing there with you in my dream. Everything was perfect, like an act of God. I was standing there with you, now I'm not. Had $1 to pay my bills, had a chance to succeed. Now I'm older and the bills are due for me. Had a car that could get around, and it shined up good. Now I'm older and the rust has caught me like you said it would. Everything was perfect, like a movie scene. I was standing there with you in my dreams. Everything